You're outside, I'm inside. It's getting towards spring down here in Australia, so I know you pretty much have good weather all around where you.
It's warm here. Summer does not want to give up yet.
Cool, cool. Thanks for the invite to have a chat. I love
Of course.
love the new single. It's fantastic. Seems like only a short while ago that we heard around again, but got a very different song for us this time.
Right? I mean, I think you know, everybody's reaction from Around Again was like, we weren't expecting that, but we really like it. And I got a lot of really good feedback from that. I think this song is maybe a little bit more of what everybody was expecting, kind of groovy,
Hmm.
rock, lots of guitars. Um, and it's funny, this song had been done for about 5 years. I just
Oh wow.
figured I would release it because, I'm kind of trying to continue on the momentum of Around Again.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great song. I loved it, and a great lyric. So like, I don't know where that comes from, but we'll talk about that as well. But it's definitely
Uh,
rocky. Love the guitar, love the drums. Is it all you who played on it?
it's actually, those are real drums, and it's Mark Scott from
Yeah.
Trixter played those
Okay.
drums. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I thought it might be. It sounds like
Yep.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's him.
That's so cool. So it was all done and dusted 5 years ago. You to that level, or did you produce it?
Yeah. I mean, what happened was years ago, around that time, had a lived in a different house, and I had a room that was set up just for all band stuff, full drum set, two guitar rigs, a bass rig, a vocal PA. And in the summers, I would have barbecues and pool parties, and a lot of people that would show up would be my musician friends.
Hmm.
And more times than not, it would be usually the same four guys that would end up
Yeah.
in that room after everyone else had left jamming. Would be me, Mark Scott, my buddy Jordan Ziff. Jordan Ziff toured with Marty Friedman a whole bunch.
Hmm.
Also was in the revolving door of Rat for a while. And he's a very well-known guitar player, but he plays everything, and he sings well, he writes great, produces. And then his buddy, childhood buddy of his, this guy Jacob Goldberg, phenomenal bass player. It would be the four of us almost all the time, and we would end up coming up with these jams that were just us looking at each other, listening to each other playing, no preconceived idea of what to do. And I would always have my phone
Hmm.
in the back of the room recording. And I'd go, man, that sounds like a song. Man, that sounds like a song too. So we decided with Save Me that we were going to at least finish one of these ideas, and which we did. And Gus played drums on him. Mark played drums on him, rather. Um, Jordan played guitar. Jacob played the bass. And then we did all the vocal stuff at my house. And a good buddy of ours, Chuck Alkazian, he's a pretty well-known producer, mixer. He mixed it. And I just been really sitting on it for about almost 5 years. And then, like I said, after Around Again, I'm like, now I got to release something else and I got to keep it going.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting. I actually love the direction of Around Again, but like you say, this is something that people are probably going to expect if they love and know their Trickster, because it sort of like has that vibe, but a more modern sound, I guess, is maybe how I describe it. So it's great,
Right.
great. So any more of those ideas that you'll be working up from those sessions?
Yeah, maybe a couple from those jam sessions, but more than not, I think I don't know. I'm not going to pick any particular direction, but I'm writing again with my buddy Rooster, who wrote
No.
Around Again with me.
Yeah.
Him and I already have three or four really cool ideas that we're developing as we speak. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I never set out to do any of this intentionally. And if we go back to talk about Around Again,
Yeah.
my thought process was when we were writing it that I was going to just have somebody else that was notable record it. And it didn't work out so well. Not easy to do. So my buddy's like, why don't you just release it? And I was like, all right, no expectations. I'll release it. And, I was really surprised how well it was received. So we released Save Me. And then, we'll see what else we can put out there and see if people enjoy it.
So it sounds like you're enjoying it though as well.
Yeah. Yes, surprisingly so. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the great response from Around Again in the first place. And so it's inspiring me to do more.
Yeah. I love this new song, but I'd certainly like to hear more of the stuff you do with Rooster. I thought
Yeah.
that was very cool.
Yeah, he's a cool writer. He's a really well-rounded guy. So we'll see what happens.
And maybe even, I guess these days, a sort of larger audience for that kind of stuff. So we'll see. So
Right.
I did want to talk about a couple of other things with you as well. Just around the corner, there's sort of like a huge anniversary on the way, a 35-year anniversary. Can you believe it? Since the first Trixter record.
It's crazy. I don't know where the time went. Time is a thief, that's for sure.
It is. I mean, I remember going in the store and buying that pretty much on the day it came out, I think.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd read stuff in the press in those days. That was the only way you got to hear about new music. And
No kidding. Yeah.
if there was a writer that had the same sort of taste as you'd gravitate towards a particular album. And I was searching all week to try and find the article that I read because I keep all the old magazines and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. That would have been cool.
I'd love to have known who it was, but they said, "Hey, check out this great new band from New Jersey. This one's a killer album." And turned out they were right. I mean, I love that though. The strange thing about it, and I never actually knew this until I was playing the vinyl again this week. Three of my favorite songs on there, Only Young Once, You'll Never See Me Crying, and Ride the Whip.
Right. Yeah.
They were actually your songs from that, especially Ride the
Yeah.
Whip. I love that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Ride the Whip goes way back. Only Young Ones too. I mean, Ride the Whip we had that, well before that record was being recorded. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. I worked on all three of those songs, lyrically, only. But I was part of the whole development of the whole thing. It was through the pre-production, rehearsals, and whatnot. But yeah, those are a lot of the songs that we wouldn't normally play all the time. And it's funny how a lot of people go, yeah, those are the songs. Never See Me Crying was like,
Yeah.
boy, that was brutal to sing then. I can't even imagine trying to do that now. Yeah, that's cool.
The classic songs. What was it like as I guess a young guy in those days getting your first deal and releasing a first album and actually holding it in your hands? I mean, those were the glory years for me. I guess 86 to sort of like 92 was the sort of the best time for music like that before grunge sort of like came in. But
right,
having that first album in your hands, I guess, must have been a pretty cool thing. And getting tours and
it was incredible. I mean, back then it was really hard to get a record contract. Now it's God, I don't even know what to think about now. But that back then it was still really hard. And it took more than just being, a good band or having good songs. You needed to be marketable, which we were. You needed to have luck. You needed to have the right people in the right places to get your music onto the right guy's desk. I mean, all that worked out, and it worked out quickly. I mean, the band really started in 83, 84. We didn't start thinking about doing originals until 86. I think we did our first little demo in the town we grew up in our buddy's basement in 86. And then by 89, we had signed a major recording contract. It was crazy. I mean, I don't know if we were just that driven. I think we were. I mean, there was like a whole gang mentality back then, us against everybody in the world. We're going to do what we, said we're going to do. And it was just, I don't know, we were driven. It was amazing. It was, sometimes I think about it and I can't believe it happened. Pretty incredible.
And it always seemed harder in those days if you were from the East Coast, because I guess the West Coast, Hollywood, Sunset Strip, that was sort of like where everyone was getting signed. It seemed in those days that even if you just had the right look and you were from Hollywood, you'd get a deal. But it's always hard.
Right? Yeah.
East Coast
Yeah.
to break through.
Yeah. We were right on the heels of Skid Row getting their deal. They had the Bon Jovis to kind of escort them in on that. But their first album was a great record. I mean, the talent was there. We all know that. But yeah, being a New York, New Jersey band wasn't really, where bands like that were getting signed from. They were all going to LA. We never even thought of going to LA. We're like, not even a chance. But that's where we recorded our first record. And, a good part of our, mixing was done there and all our videos. So, but yeah, coming out of New York, New Jersey was a little bit left to center for those times.
And it's also 30 years since Undercovers, which for me, like a lot of bands did their cover albums and did their acoustic albums back in the day. But the song selection on that was one that always really intrigued me because it was almost like it was designed to be unexpected.
Yeah, I wish I could remember exactly how that was done, but my memory serves me as, each guy is going to sing a few songs on that record. And, that guy picked two songs that he wants to do. This guy picked two. And we kind of all like huddled around and said, yeah, well, maybe not that one. But yeah, it is kind of really strange, a Paul Simon song and then a Beatles song and then AC/DC song. It's all over the place. But interesting concept. A lot of people liked it. Not my favorite Trixter record, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it was different enough,
Yeah, I mean, Elvis Costello, everything. I actually like the Elvis Costello cover on that as well. So it was a cool one.
Yeah.
I guess then grunge happened and things changed for a huge number of people in the industry. I saw that Motley Crue actually covered "Fight for Your Right." Not as well as you guys did, in my opinion, a little while ago.
Yeah, I just saw that too, and I'm like, really? Okay. I forgot where I read that. Did they play it at a club or something like that? Or
You get I think they released it as a single as well. But
oh, really? Okay.
yeah, it's
Wow. Okay.
not
Good for them.
exactly. I guess now we've had a bit more time. We've got a couple of singles under the belt. We've got more to come. You've already told me.
Yeah.
Would you like to get out there and play a few shows again? Because I know you play occasionally, but
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good question. I've been asked that a few times already. I am not. I am not gearing up to do that. I am not hoping to do that. But if there's enough chatter about it and a show or two that is really worth it pops up, I might consider it. I would be I wouldn't have enough material to do all original stuff. I would say I would be stupid to not do a couple of Trixter songs in there. So, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. It's not completely off the table. I'm not 1000% against it. I'm not going to be going out there every weekend and, doing fly-in shows like a lot of these guys are doing. That's just not something that I'm interested in. I could totally do it. Um, but it's just not something that I'm interested at the moment.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see down the track next time we speak. When the next,
Yeah, right, exactly.
we'll see how it's. I mean, like maybe festival dates, stuff like that. It's interesting. I mean, one of the questions I want to ask you, but it might be putting you on the spot a bit, is obviously two of the guys from Trixter are out there playing at the moment, doing those weekend dates and stuff like that.
Right.
Has anyone ever had, or have you spoken to the guys about maybe a big show for the 35th?
I have not spoken to them about that. Um, yeah, I mean, they're out there doing their thing. I think they are really happy with what they've got going on. I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad they're keeping the name alive, the legacy going. Um, it's my choice to not be there, to do those shows. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff going on. I've got a son that just turned 17, and that's an age these days where you gotta, spend a lot of time and make sure you're engaging with your youngster there and keeping him on the right path. And luckily for me, um, my son enjoys doing a lot of the things that I enjoy doing, riding motorcycles and all this outdoor stuff. So it's important for me to be there for that. Um, those guys, they love to travel. I hate traveling. They love doing it. And they're all over the place. I mean, PJ's he's in Jericho's Fozzy. He's in, two or three other bands. I can't even keep track. So is Steve.
Yeah.
Um, those guys, that runs through their blood. They love it. So um, I'm just not, I'm just not in that frame of mind these days.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? I mean,
Oh yeah,
life happens to everyone, and unless you are sort of like completely, I guess, driven, and that, I guess, is the main focus. It must have been hard to sort of keep hold of that over the years, because obviously there's a bit of a nostalgia sort of like trip going on at the moment with a lot of bands, guess, from the 80s, sort of like hitting the road again with one or maybe two original members if we're lucky. But it's hard work.
it is. It's the traveling is brutal, with, the way the uh, prices and inflation. I mean, it's hard to make a buck, at the end of the day. Now, especially, it's brutal with the cost of everything. At that level, if you are Motley Crue or Def Leppard, things are a lot different there. You can travel in style and, you're still making a whole bunch of money. If I was on that level, I could see that, hey, that'll work out for me just fine. But when you're, at the level where, Trickster is, or a lot of those bands like that, it takes a lot out of you. And at the end of the day, you've got to make sure you're not spending too much money. You got to calculate everything, hotels, gas, all that stuff. And, it's not easy. And honestly, musically, those songs for guys like me, where I'm 58 now, those songs aren't easy to sing anymore. Um, it takes a lot of energy to sing those songs. And, Steve and PJ both do the singing. Um, and, you know, they're bringing it. They're doing a great job. It's not easy to do every night. It's a chore. And they didn't change the tuning like a lot of those bands from those days will drop the tuning a half step, a full step, just so the singer can get a break. And I get it. But they're still playing those songs as they were recorded. So props to them for that. It is not easy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it'd be great to see you play a few one-off shows, I think, and we'd love to have you down here, maybe even at some point in the future.
That would be really cool. I have never been there. I would love to do that. And as far as, going back to what Steve and PJ are doing, I jumped up on stage with them in March. I think they were in Arizona, and it was great. And and we probably talked about this. It was surreal to
Yeah.
be sitting in the back of that venue watching those guys play. It was like I was almost like an out of body experience. And then I had people starting to go and look at me going, wait a minute, what is he doing here? Why something's weird going on. So it was cool to see. Uh, and that's not completely off the table for me either. I mean, I would love to do that again with those guys. Not every weekend,
Yeah.
but I would love to jump up there and sit in for a few songs. That'd be great.
It would be great. We talked
Yeah,
about the two new songs, and we talked about maybe doing some more stuff with Rooster. I-
yeah.
Is there a lot still there? Have you got a lot of what I guess some guys call draw junk?
Uh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, Rooster and I, we chat all the time. He's a professional musician, so he is always playing his guitar. He's always recording. He's always working with people. Um, he's got tons of ideas. Together, we have a good handful of ideas, and we just haven't had the opportunity to sit down together to really kind of push some more stuff out there. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We've already got some stuff going, so it's going to happen here soon. And when we finally get a good A to B or A to Z rather uh, sketch, we're going to knock it out quick. And then, before long, the next song will be out there.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see the next step in that journey. It will be fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
I just got a couple of favors if I could ask you. I'm gonna,
sure.
if I can, I won't play it until the 11th, obviously, when it comes out.
All right.
But I'd love to play the new song on the radio if you could do an intro for us. And then the other thing I'd love to ask is, and I'm asking everyone this year and people that we've been involved with over the 15 years of the Rock Pit, just to wish us a happy 15th birthday.
Oh, cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 15 years, not October the 11th, the week after. So the 21st is our official 15th birthday.
Cool. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, you want me to do it now?
Please, that'd be great.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Rock Pit, Pete Loran here, wishing you guys a happy 15th anniversary. Unbelievable. Keep rocking.
Thank you so much for that. And if you want to do a bit of a longer, so we'll put this up on the radio. If you want to do a bit of a longer intro for Save Me and just maybe say a little bit about the song.
Sure.
We promise we won't play it until, ooh, what time does it come out on the 11th? US time?
You know, I believe it is going to be right at about, I want to say it's going to be at midnight on the 11th. It's going to come out.
Yeah.
So it's going to get released to all the streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. But we've also, there's a video for it. And unlike Around Again was just a lyric video, this one's a real video. And it's actually starring my girlfriends in the video. We actually made it here at our house. We didn't intend to do it, but it kind of happened. And I recorded everything, all the video. And we didn't talk about this, but lyrically for Save Me, the song is about when it happened, it was right when Chris Cornell had passed.
Mhm.
And I was always a fan of his, a fan of his voice, a fan of Soundgarden, his solo stuff, Audio Slave. And I had a couple of friends that worked for Soundgarden at the time this happened. So I had some insight to the last show, walking Chris off the stage, my buddy walking him off the stage, putting him in his car driving him to the hotel. So it hit me, it hit me pretty hard. He was a dad. He was, seemed like a really great guy, and all those things just kind of unexpectedly got to me. And I just started writing the melody for Save Me, and the lyrics were about his last couple of days there. And so when it came time to make the video, I thought, the song's up, you know, it's a rock song. It's, you know, it's a good energy song. The lyrics are, it's a dark subject, I guess. It's a real subject. But I didn't want to make the video about that. I started out as that was my idea. Okay, we'll make it about Chris Cornell. And I'm like, no, no, no. I'm going to irritate people if I even do anything, you know, visually about him. I'm staying away from that. So we just made it like a fun thing. Basically, like a person that is has a song they love, you know, when they hear it, they're dancing around the house, they're lip syncing, they're playing air guitar. And that's really what the video is about. So the video will also be released on October 11th on my YouTube channel, just Pete Loran. And then I'll have all the links for all the social, for all the streaming platforms on my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook. And that's what's going to happen. But I believe it's going to be at midnight on the 11th.
Cool. That's 7 a.m. for us, so I'll check it out and we'll put that
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
We'll put a link to that up on the site as well. Yeah, it was
absolutely.
interesting. I met Chris once, and
Oh, cool.
he was like, when he's played Australia, obviously in his solo thing a few times. Didn't like
Yeah,
photographers, so I was photographing one of his shows, and they put us right at the back by the soundboard. So and
that's the best place to be.
in the venue though,
Yeah, oh
it
yeah.
was a stretch, and all the pictures looked the same. But I actually bumped into him before the show. I was just going around the back to collect some stuff, and he was lovely, down to earth, but he seemed very uncomfortable with the whole fame thing, and that was, I guess, my short take of meeting him is
Isn't that's
well,
strange, right? I mean, a guy, I mean, you know, he probably started out that way, you know, with Soundgarden. I mean, I don't know their whole history, but kind of like a Kurt Cobain thing where, like, you know, they wanted success so bad, and then when it happened, they're like, oh man, this is too much, you know? So that's a hell of a place to be.
it is whenever everyone wants you and everyone wants your time. So
No kidding. Yeah.
it's
Brutal.
crazy. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Of course.
I'm going to put that story up that you told me. We'll put that on the radio, I think. I'll just cut that out and put that on there. But if you could
Okay.
just do a quick few second intro to the song. I mean, the story was fantastic.
Sure. Rock Pit. Pete Loran here. Got a new song called Save Me coming out on October 11th. Video as well. I appreciate it if you guys check it out. Thank you so much for all the support for all the years.
Hey, no worries, mate. Always there for you. We'll always support you. Can't wait to hear what comes next. It's
Yeah, there's more coming, man.
pleasure to talk. Thank you so much, Pete.